So my name is Lily Irani. My day job is a professor at UCSD. I also organize a Tech Workers Coalition, and I'm on the board of United Taxi Workers. And so me and my students have been working with UTWSD, United Taxi Workers of San Diego, building a vision of union taxis enabled by apps for passengers, convenience, and to help drivers access a new market. And we're excited to share with you what we've got cooking and how you can be part of it. And we've also got with us today Mikaiil Hussein, who's the president of United Taxi Workers San Diego. Hi, Mikaiil. Thank you for being here. So you'll be hearing a lot more from Mikaiil about the history of United Taxi Workers over the last decade or more. So I'm going to start off by just introducing the Ride United project, what we've been about. So United Taxi Workers has an incredible history organizing for policy changes that would make it possible for workers to make good livelihoods, for doing the essential work of getting people around. Whatever kinds of dense housing we're going to have, whatever changes we're going to have to urban development to achieve transportation for climate justice, we still live in a place that's got a lot of sprawl, and people need to get to transit. People need to sometimes get to the doctor. We're always going to need driving work, and taxi drivers, Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, they provide this essential work. So Ride United, the United Taxi Workers project, was about letting drivers collectively decide the conditions under which they're working. Unlike Uber, where Uber determines how much drivers get paid, determines what kind of cut Uber gets, determines the design of the software, determines how complaints are handled, determines whether drivers are fired or not, whether their accounts are suspended. With Ride United, it's part of a taxi union where drivers are going to collectively decide those questions. So for example, the drivers of Ride United have collectively decided the rates they're going to charge, which is $2.80 per mile here in San Diego. And if you have questions about how they arrived at that rate, I welcome you to ask. And then our business plan, as Ride United, is to build business both by marketing directly to individual riders, probably a bunch of you who registered, I know, said you were interested in booking rides for yourself with the convenience of an app, but also building business through setting up contracts for drivers that are cooperatively organized with big institutions that need transportation. So one of the things that's really historic for UTWSD that we're actually announcing tonight, it just got announced on Instagram by our partner this morning, is United Taxi Workers has a contract with the San Diego Community College District. So they have a contract to help students that are low income, basic needs students get between campuses to get to different classes the system offers. And the community college system is subsidizing that. So drivers get paid a living wage for what they're doing, and students can get around in places where our public transportation network is not filled in yet. All right, so we wanted to talk with Jama and Mikaiil about what's at stake in taking a union taxi for drivers. So Jama, I want to ask you first. So you recently joined Ride United after driving Uber for 12 years. You were one of the original people who was part of the movement of taxi drivers that worked to get, to change city policies, but then Uber came in and kind of really harmed the taxi industry. So, what was it like driving for Uber, and why'd you come back to taxis?
Yeah, at the beginning, I was, the taxi driver for a long time. I started 2008, and I was be a member beginning of a United, the taxi workers, 2009. One of the long-term membership, and lifetime member, and then the 2012 I became an Uber driver. At that time, we were struggling, to open the medallion and fighting for the driver's rights. Then I go to drive the Uber, and finally I came back after, the Uber, doing a lot of, the wrong things for the drivers. So there's a lot of reasons, that come back from Uber and become a taxi driver with United Taxi Workers of San Diego. So the reason is like they don't care about the drivers. Drivers, they don't have the exact rights. Um, so that's one of the reasons. And, they take most of the percentage, whatever you made. I don't know exactly, but I think it right now it's like more than 45 percentage what Uber take from the drivers. And the beginning when we started, the Uber in San Diego, it was the percentage was different, like Uber Black and Uber SUV. So Uber Black was 15 percentage, whatever you made. So they changed a lot, and when they establish, they take advantage of the drivers. So that's one of the reasons. And you don't know exactly how much the rate is different. They're using star pricing, So it's like sometimes you pick up someone from airport to like 3 4 miles, they charge more and they take more percentage from you. And sometimes
Mm.
it's like they give to you like less than $10 for like fair you waiting like long and getting to the airport and. And the other thing is it's your own car. You're driving your own car, your own like mountain, gas, everything. They don't do nothing. And then whatever you made, they take like close to 50 percentage, so which is not fair. And the business
Mhm.
is so bad right now. It's like hard to make money with generally all the transportation. So the reason is uh, um, back to the taxi is like you do your own business, that you don't give any percentage to anyone, and you know what you're doing and who you picking up. It's like everything is like legalized from the government and everything, and all those dispatch and. So I think it's
Mhm.
better. It is low. We have challenge also like, as a taxi driver right now, but it's way better than Uber.
Yeah, with the business being slow, I mean, that's one of the things that we're trying to change by actually getting word out that there are taxis available and they're union taxis and help people understand that what's at stake and putting working with drivers who control their own working conditions compared to Uber and Lyft. And Jama, I remember you and I one time when we were talking, like you kind of were talking about when you started, Uber was taking a 15% cut of what you were making, and then it was like you just said it was like 45% more recently, and then the customers, like sometimes as a customer, if I log into a rideshare app, it's like sometimes it's like really cheap, sometimes it's really expensive. It's almost like it's like a slot machine. With a taxi, like you're
Yeah.
paying 280 per mile, like you know what you're gonna get. With Uber, people will sometimes ask me like, oh, is taxi more expensive than Uber? It's often not more expensive, but sometimes Uber is cheaper, but sometimes it's more expensive. And I think that it kind of like hooks us into the gamble to make us keep trying. So I'd rather just know what I'm paying. So I also wanted to ask Mikaiil, so you and Jama fought, almost a decade ago now for driver control over your work conditions and for fairness in your work. Can you explain how United Taxi's fight for good jobs started and how it's continuing today?
Yeah, thank you all. Thank you for participating. We really appreciate your time. I know it's late for me. I start 4 o'clock this morning and I'm still up. So I want to thank everybody who's in the joining us today. So I want to just say a shout out to Jama also. Jama is not only is a it's not a regular guy. He's a lifetime UTWSD member. When we were sitting our office, on the floor, he was the one who pledged actually the money to pay for the rent. And my work was to advocate around the clock and to do the work, although they were helping in a big way. So Jama, shout out to him. The reason he came back is his heart is here. So and now he's here to help us out to launch this app. I want to thank for Jama for his work and his lifetime member of UTWSD. So with that, how UTWSD started, UTWSD is formed 2009. There's so many reasons, full of reasons. High lease price, no health and insurance or sick leave or day. And we had unsafe vehicles at that time, and also harassment by the police, MTS regulation, and officials, and they've been, giving us tickets and sometimes verbally and abusive, So and we need driver advocacy at that time. We need education to educate drivers and organizing, empowering drivers. Actually, that's how we started UTWSD at the beginning. We didn't know what to do at that time. Peter, I saw him early. I think he's on. And then I was as organizers, for me, and have experience before, for immigrants before. We actually knock a lot of doors, and Employee Rights Center, first people who respond to us. And Peter is a champion, still around, and he's around the clock. Actually, that's the guy, day in, day out. And I want to thank Lily. She's our board also. Uday and Palashi. I want to shout out everybody. So I cannot see everybody here, but I want to thank Udayan. I can't forget Udayan. So UTWSD, this is how it started at the beginning. And after that, what happened? We actually had 25 issues. Out of the 25 was the one big one is to lift the cap and give opportunity for taxi drivers to have a dignity and respected industry they're working in. So that was the big one, 2015. So, and we achieved that one in 2014. That's amazing, right? So not only we achieved that, we actually we started small. I think this is kind of like a long timeline. 2009, when we have Employee Rights Center, we educate ourselves, with the Peter and Alor Employee Rights Center. They educate us and actually what to do, and we study. So we started actually campaign lifting first how we can make, drivers has a voice. So we fight for 1 year, and we equalize the board for taxi advisory committee. That's where we started at the beginning. When we see the light on the tunnel, we say, okay, man, we can do it now. So now we have to gear up, actually say how we can lift the cap. 2014, November 10, we lift the cap on tax opportunity. If you look at this taxi, it was $170,000 black market under the table. That's how it was. 96% of the drivers, they were lease drivers. Think about it. So who's benefiting? Only 4%. We overcome all that. So right now, after we lift 2014, it's a long story. I cannot finish all day, but I want to just try to grasp quick. We opened the airport also. Airport was 360 cars only, allowing. So it's kind of like saying that this person can eat, this person cannot eat. So we stopped that. We lift the cap 2020 on the airport, so everybody can go in as much as they want it, as little as they want it. And now we're thinking about once we lift 2014, how to do innovation, customer service, price reduction. Those are where we. And by the way, Lily, it's 4 years and a half, almost 5 years with you. So I want to correct you that one. so that was that long actually I'm talking about. So it
went by so quickly.
Yeah, it went by so quickly, yes. So anyway, it was amazing transformation over the years. We have app-based dispatch. This is amazing actually how far we come. So we changed it all the way. Think about 25 issues, the top being lifting the cap, finishing all 25, including lifting the cap. That's transformation, And the question Lily was asking was, how we still doing it? We still doing it because we want to make sure that drivers actually, we want to bring drivers actually business. If you ask me 3-4 years ago, we thought we lost taxi business. Right now, we are on the horizon. Uber and Lyft, they do a lot of issues, a lot of problems. I don't want to talk about it. Jama Ali knows better than I do. But taxi industry can be revived, can be sustainable, can also feed the family. People we used to send to schools. We used to buy some of our guys buy houses, send to college, and that was sustainable. And we can bring with your help. So I'll stop there.
Amazing. Yeah, when you talked about some, having hope for the taxi industry, one of the things that's been happening across in some cities across the country is that Uber has been signing deals with cab companies because there are, the driving conditions suck, and so they don't have enough drivers. And so when they're running out of drivers, they actually, in San Diego, I think Uber is trying to subcontract rides out through Yellow Cab. And so for drivers, that means not only is Yellow Cab taking a cut, because Yellow Cab actually charges several $100s a year for drivers to be part of that dispatch. Ride United's dispatch is very, very affordable for drivers. But so Yellow Cab's taking a cut, and now Uber's taking a cut as well. And so we want drivers to get all the money, but we want you to have an app. I'll just show a picture of the app when we were testing it. So the app Ride United, we work with a small software company. Working with a small company gives us more ability to negotiate how the features work, negotiate the data privacy policies, negotiate the pricing models. Like, do we pay them for software per month, or do we pay them per ride that we get through the app? Those are all things that United Taxi negotiates with the company. And so on the phone, you got the hand pointing to you. That's the app that the customer would hold in their hands. So you got your what you'd expect. You put in an address for pickup, for destination. You click request ride, and it puts a call out to the dispatch where Will, our dispatcher, it'll automatically try to find a ride, or will the dispatcher is supervising it to make sure that it actually matches up, or it can call drivers if he needs to. And then the tablets that you're seeing are what the drivers will have mounted in their cars to guide them in being able to be alerted when there's a customer who wants a ride, and they can pick up the ride, and it'll also act as their taxi meter. So we've been testing our app. There's a group of about 10 of us who take rides with it. We find design problems, or we find things that, need to be improved in, like, the driver's car, the way it's mounted. So we've been working through all those issues to make it work really smoothly for customers and for drivers. And I think we're planning to launch in mid-December. So we'll definitely send you all an email when that's ready. But in the meantime, you can book a taxi in the meantime by calling 619-280-4444. So I hope this is basically, by calling the number, you're booking with a driver who controls their work conditions. You're paying an affordable rate. And on the back end, we are actually using our app platform and testing it to make sure it works smoothly and is ready for showtime. So we're doing a phase launch. First, we're asking you to book with the phone, and then in about a month, we will be ready to have you book with the app. Since we are in the early stages of this, and I think there's like some tips for having a more successful experience and helping us out. The pool of drivers on our system is small because we want to make sure that the app works well and that drivers are integrated and have a voice. And so we're trying to scale up the number of drivers we have as we're trying to scale up the number of customers we have. So you all are potentially our beta users, our early adopters, and we want you to have a great experience. But if for any reason you hit a glitch with the dispatch, we would love your feedback to improve our process. And it helps us if you book as early as you'll need a ride, so that we can get you scheduled.
Couple points. One is, Lily was mentioning about the pricing. San Diego fare rate is $4.10 per mile. So, but our guys, they come together and they say we want to promote our app at the same time and fill the gap. And they decided actually $2.80 per mile.
Mm-hmm.
So then that's why this, total of $3.20 goes to the customer spend. Of course, it goes to the, paying for the fees and the technology. That's the calls you guys receive when you call us. I want to just clear. Other dispatchers, normally it's $4.10 per mile. That's why when we're talking about innovation, customer service, and price reduction, and the other thing also, drivers getting 100% through us. So no one is doing that actually. So drivers get all the money. If they pick, the customer, what they agree, they say 280, they will get all that money. 100% goes to the drivers. So just the 6% we have on top of for the technology, which the technology company is taking it, is a fraction, and the customer is paying. So I want to just clear that.
Yeah, thanks for clarifying that. Yeah, it does cost money to maintain software, and but we just have a fixed fee that's been worked out with the drivers. Do you have any advice for how customers can be in solidarity with drivers?
Drivers actually in San Diego, we help everything. We do delivery, grocery, elderly, we take care of everything, and we are passionate what we do. We are professionals actually, different field, a different background, and every money the drivers you give actually, of course, will benefit their family. This is something we believe that they can at least sustain themselves. I think that's major. So compared to Uber is taking 70%. That's one thing I would say that. And also when you take taxi, the other point is to also tip them whenever you can. That's two things I will say. Jama, so it's next.
Yeah, I want to add like on one point. As a cab driver, I think we do the very important job for the community. And this time, like we help make a business with the people who don't able to deal with the smartphones and all those. Such like elder people, people with the special needs, all those. And then sometimes I feel like we can do a good job. Like it's like something very important to do. It's like when you pick up someone don't have and can able to use like those technology and can order the Uber or Lyft or whatever. And that is the kind of service we do right now. So I think we need to promote and share that idea, that, and tell like all those whoever that try to help you and to do the keep the the cab life. So it's like that's what I'm thinking like that's, and it's one of the important things. This is like part of the the business. Not only we do the business, but we do that the part of also.
That's actually pretty profound. Thanks for bringing that up. So with Uber and Lyft, like they're trying to automate as much of our interaction as possible. And everyone forgets that not everybody uses a smartphone, or not everyone, sometimes your smartphone dies or something and you're out of luck. But it's like having a phone dispatch, it's a mode of access for more more diverse customers. You mentioned the elderly, for example, but also it's like a connection to a real person in the community. Like I know that when my mom took a taxi, the taxi driver like helped her to the, she's older, so the taxi driver helped her to the door with groceries. Like that's not the kind of thing, like Uber drivers get penalized if they take that kind of time, because the algorithm's like, oh, you're not on the road fast enough. So yeah, thank you for reminding us that Uber is also kind of automating some, driver's relationship to the community. And maybe that's not something that we want. It's not something I want. Jama and Mikaiil, is there anything that you wish I'd asked you that you would like to share with the audience at all?
As a driver right now, I think taxi, I drive taxi, Lyft, and Uber. Right now I'm driving a taxi. So I mostly work at the airport, and I frequently, talk to the drivers as a senior driver. I talk to, the three things like, customer service, helping people, and all the stuff, security, like be like open for clients, all those. Because I know what the Uber do. Most of the Uber drivers, the part-time drivers, college students, all those, they are not professional. They stay on the car They don't assist to the people. They don't do all those stuff. So I feel like the picture of the taxi and the all TN transportation is people like take a different idea. So taxi right now they do a good service like they are clean, nice cars like electronic driven electronic cars, hybrid and all the stuff. And then they do a good service for the clients, and everything is like we try to be better than what the Uber drivers do because we are professional drivers. We have all those quality sheriff license, everything, and then the training and the UT do a lot of training for the drivers. So compared to the service, it's totally different. When I'm driving a taxi with with the city, I'm driving like last 17 years, and when college student, driving like his personal car, with his, the backpack from school, and the trunk, and
Mhm.
taking some other, a client from the airport. I don't know how the safety is gonna be for those. They create a lot of accidents, traffic, in the airport. Every other day we witness what the Uber and Lyft drivers do inside the airport. So I think we need to the awareness uh, for the client for the the traders to know more about that safety,
Mhm.
security, and the and safety also.
Yeah, we actually at UCSD we did a study where we just reviewed all the research that was available about Uber and Lyft and its impact on cities. And uh, so it was not doing our own research, but it was synthesizing other people's research. And Jama, like you said, studies have found that places that have Uber, there's evidence that there's a higher rate of accidents.
I think one of the thing actually, what the community and when we start a long time ago, I have phrase actually. I say, we are not alone. You know, we have the right to advocate ourselves, and people always see us, and we will get people, help us in a bigger way. And that's over the year, it's been happening that way. People come in, anyone, even with students. I remember all the people I have relationship. They start the first year law school or any school, and we have relationship up to today. They still volunteer, do some work. Monisol Kahinde, with the first year we met with to Employee Rights Center. She's still our advisor on our board. Emily is around. So everybody we encounter over the years, I think, get connected actually and find out who we are and what we do. We are honest to what we do, and this is make me happy because over the past 14 years, actually, if I can at least do one person life change, that's the reason I drive and work 7 days a week. And definitely I want to everybody to connect us. If you guys come in, we are 7036 Elcom Boulevard. Come have coffee with us. Stop by anytime.